Bill, first of all, I appreciate the email this week wishing us congratulations on the merger. And the number one question that many of our audience has is, when will you join forces with the evil empire that we are assembling here?
The world is changing media-wise. I get ratings, cable news ratings, and network news ratings every day.
Yeah, I know. And
the deterioration in the audience, particularly 25 to 54, is startling. Americans are not getting what they want from television news overall.
I've seen some of the ratings on CNN, and the ratings on CNN for 25-54 are lower than the ratings we used to have when we were struggling over on headline news. I mean, it's
bleak.
It's bleak.
So I think consolidating your power on the Blaze with CRTV is a good, smart move.
Yeah.
It's all about having a vehicle that's different and then letting the folks decide what they'd like to watch.
And also creating something, I think, that does not tell people what to say, what to do, what to think, how to produce their show. Just produce your show. And
you got to get good people, and you also have to have distribution. That is the key. So at this point in my career, we're doing very well on BillO'Reilly.com, better than I ever thought.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to just wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
What happens in the next few months. Anything could happen with me. I mean, I'm open to a lot of possibilities.
You never know. We've also hired a new negotiating firm, Vito and Vito.
I like Vito, and I'm glad he's on parole.
Oh, you're going to love him. You're going to love him.
I'm glad he's out.
All right. Bill, tell me here in about a minute and a half that we have, your thoughts on the George Bush funeral this week.
Okay, before I get to that, and when we come back, I hope we can talk about the column I wrote on religion and clerics speaking, sermonizing in churches. I hope you read that, because I want to know what you think about what I said.
All right.
Okay, the funeral of Bush the Elder, very, very positive for America. Shows the world that the country admires patriotism and honesty. And certainly those attributes were part of the Bush the Elder's appeal. Obviously the cable news, it took about 30 seconds after the funeral in Washington was over for them to begin tearing up again and misbehaving. Can't stop it. It's an epidemic. It's disgusting. But I thought the Bush family and the whole presentation was a big plus for the country.
What do you think George Bush, in the end, George H.W. Bush, will be remembered for?
Being a decent man. He wrote me 2 letters that I promised I wouldn't publish until he passed. I have them on BillO'Reilly.com. Very strong letters, Beck. One about the media bias and the other about Iran-Contra. And I hope all your listeners will go there and read those letters.
Mm-hmm.
He was an honest man, but fundamentally a decent, kind man.
I agree.
I had a nice correspondence with him.
I agree. Bill O'Reilly, we're going to talk about his really powerful op-ed, "O Come All Ye Faithful," when we come back. Bill O'Reilly has written a very good op-ed called "O Come All Ye Faithful" that everybody should read. Bill, if I may, I just want to quote a couple of parts of it. "The faithful are not coming, at least not the way they once did. Churches and synagogues are seeing declining weekly attendance as America becomes a devoted secular nation. The winds of change have not been kind to the spiritual, even as the Christmas season is upon us once again. Much of the diminishment of religion comes from the media, who often marginalizes people of faith, portraying them as zealots who intrude on the rights of others. For example, LGBT progress is met with parades. Those who promote biblical beliefs are accused of bigotry and shunned by some. On the subject of abortion, if you stand to protect innocent life, then you're a hater of women, not worthy of being taken seriously. Tough to fight that so many millions of folks won't even try. and some of them are supposed to be religious leaders. Centuries of Irish Catholic tradition compel me to attend weekly Mass, even though it's not always a rewarding experience. That's a pretty brave thing to say as somebody who is faithful, but I think a lot of Americans feel the same way. I go, and sometimes it's like, what are you talking about? Why aren't we talking about real things? Bill.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote a book called Killing Jesus, and the reason that Jesus had thousands of people following him around was because he stood up on a big rock and gave sermons that moved them as human beings. And the sermons were very explicit in here's what you do if you want to earn the kingdom of heaven. Here's what you got to do. And it wasn't like, don't do. All right? There were a few times when Jesus of Nazareth did that, but very few. It was, this is what you have to do. So now I'm going to church, and I'm listening to some priest tell me about the mustard seed. I got it. It fell on fallow ground and didn't grow up. I got it. Tell me what I should do when my kid is addicted to a machine in his hand where he can access evil in less than 10 seconds. All right, let's deal with something that promotes evil in the easiest way in civilization. How about we deal with that a little bit? How would Jesus see that? And you get nothing, zero. Nothing even close where you could take it home and discuss it with your kids, with other people. And the average age of my church, people go to Mass every Sunday, is about 80. I mean, kids, I drag my kids, but I got to drag them. Because they sit there and the priest up there droning on and on and on and on about nothing that relates to contemporary life. And that was the column. And I'm saying, look, if you people in the churches and synagogues and all of that, if you want people to become spiritual, you've got to help them. And we're not getting the help back.
Bill, I'm rereading How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I read that when I was a kid because my dad forced me to read it. And so I kind of read it like, I got to read that stupid book. And I know what it said, and, because my dad did a lesson afterwards, et cetera, et cetera. But I haven't read it, I think, since I was maybe 20. And I just read it again, and I'm going back to read it again and really take it apart because it really has all of the answers that we're looking for. And nobody's talking about it. And one of the first chapters is you have to find out what people need and then help them accomplish that. And that's one of the things that our churches, I don't think, are doing. They are struggling with so many things. They're under attack at school. They're under attack in society. They're under attack in politics. They're under attack all the time. And
even Christmas is under attack. So you're absolutely right. And by the way, I tried to buy that book, and Barnes & Noble refused to sell it to me. I thought that was very unfair.
What?
They said, O'Reilly, we're not giving you How to Win Friends. And,
well, it's impossible for you. I think that says that somewhere in the book. This will work for everybody but Bill.
But Bill, right.
Yeah,
and look, you've got – I'm sitting here and my head's blowing off. You talk about Kevin Hart. Okay. I got no use for Kevin Hart.
I like Kevin.
He's all right.
He's funny.
Nobody wanted the job.
Well,
it's when you're down to offering, the job to KC and the Sunshine Band to host the Oscars.
Right.
You got a problem.
So if they came, let me ask you this: if they came to you and said, "Bill,"
no, I wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't do it.
No, you can't win. Number one, I can't pronounce the names of the movies, and I'm absolutely not going to see The Shape of Water. I know what the shape of water is. I'm not standing there. I'm not going.
That would be such a great, but it would be so great to see you on stage, the Oscars. Just saying that. Saying that.
Just like, what are you people are all frauds. You're all phonies. I know you're liberal and you hate Trump. Why? Because you want to work. I got it. Everybody's got it.
We have to do our own live Oscars here on that Sunday night.
I'm awarding it to High Plains Drifter. I actually watched that last night. It was best picture. It was
all right. So back to Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Back to Kevin Hart.
So you've got a cultural civil war in the country, and one side doesn't fight. That's the traditional spiritual religious side, and we're not in a fight. We're not doing it. So,
well, I think can we hang on just a second? Wait. Let me play what Kevin Hart said, because I think this is the way average people feel, and they feel I don't have to fight this because it's so crazy it just won't stand. But it is standing. But listen to what he said.
I swear, man, our world is becoming beyond crazy. And I'm not going to let the craziness frustrate me or anger me, especially when I worked hard to get to the mental space that I am at now. My team calls me, oh my God, Kevin, the world is upset about tweets you did years ago. Guys, I'm almost 40 years old. If you don't believe that people change, grow, evolve as they get older, I don't know what to tell you. If you want to hold people in a position where they always have to justify or explain their past, then do you.
I mean, he's right. And so people don't necessarily fight back because A, they don't see a way to win, and B, they're like, you know what? I can't even relate to these people. If you don't understand that something I said 10 years ago in a tweet shouldn't be held against me today.
And he's a comedian.
Right.
He's doing a riff. But that's a cop-out, though, Beck. I mean, to say, I don't want to really do it. Look, then you're ceding control of the American culture to Me Too, Time's Up, Gay Lobby, all of this stuff. So they're going to be the ones that tell you what you can and can't say.
Okay, so let me go back to what you just wrote and what you just said. And I thought this was really great. You said, don't tell me what not to do. Tell me what to do.
Right.
So in the case of like Kevin Hart, and you see this and you're like, this is ridiculous. And you know it's going to happen to you or your kids. So what do you do?
Well, I'm not going to spend a lot of currency sticking up for Kevin Hart. As I said, I mean, I don't think this is a champion of anything. They just needed a person of color to do the show, and then he was selected. But, I'm not going to campaign on behalf of Kevin Hart. But in my lifetime, I've been attacked every hour on the hour, distorted, accused, whatever it may be, with the sole intent of destroying my voice, because I wrote a book called Culture Warrior, which predicted this would all happen. That if you're going to have no leadership on the traditional spiritual side, what leadership do we have, Beck? You're a voice, I'm a voice. There's a few more of us, but not many. Not many. We're outnumbered 100-1 in the media. And then you go into the individual churches around the country, and you get the mustard seed. Okay, you get nothing about, look, we believe certain things, and here is the way to promote your belief. Here's what you need to do in your own life to make sure that we spiritual people are represented. You get none of that. So you're basically surrendering to the forces that say, you better not say anything critical of anybody we like, or we're going to destroy you. And that's exactly what's happening. Exactly what's happening.
Bill O'Reilly, always good to talk to you. It's always
Is it really back?
Yeah, it's a pick-me-up. I don't know about everybody else in the audience, but I feel much better.
All right. Killing the SS, great Christmas gift.
Good to talk to you, Bill.
And BillO'Reilly.com will not put you to sleep. That's for sure.
Have a good weekend. Have a good weekend.
You too. And we'll see you in church, Beck.
You got it. Bye-bye. Bill O'Reilly from BillO'Reilly.com. Soon to be a part of Blaze Media. I'm telling you, because Vito makes offers that Bill just can't refuse. Matt Gray has joined me on the broadcast, on the program, on the show, and we're glad that you're here. Matt Kibbe is coming up in just a second. We're going to talk to him from the Libertarian POV. Also, I want to spend a couple more minutes on this Kevin Hart thing. You know, Bill said, I'm not going to stick up for Kevin Hart. I'm going to stick up for anybody who is being squelched. Mm-hmm. You know, I'll stand up for anybody. I don't have to agree with you. I'll stand up for Don Lemon. I'll stand up for Alex Jones. I'll stand up for anybody who is being squelched because of what they have said, what they believe, what they have said, especially in his case, 10 years ago.
Yeah, and he's apologized for it multiple times.
Oh, stop it.
Which is why he said, I'm not going to apologize for it again. I've already done that. Then he, of course, did apologize for it again, because that's just where we are. He's a comedian. Of course, he has said, edgy things about probably everything over the past 20 years.
So who's going to take over now? Who is going to take over for Hollywood? Get this, who is pure enough to be able to host the Oscars?
Who wants to subject themselves to this? I wouldn't do it. Would you?
No.
I would not do that.
No.
I mean, they're not going to want me, but if they did, I wouldn't do it. I don't know, maybe Billy
Crystal?
Just
because it's a live broadcast. Oh, you put whatever you want in that teleprompter. It's a live broadcast. I would not miss that opportunity. So please, I throw my hat in the ring. I would love to host the Oscars. Anyway, the thing on this is, who are you going to get? Billy Crystal?
Yeah, maybe.
Because Billy Crystal, at this point, Billy Crystal he's a comedian too. He said something. Mm-hmm. There's something that
You'll find
said.
something offensive
Correct.
That he has said in the past.
So even if you're a Billy Crystal fan, you would think, you know what? Oh, Kevin Hart's not good enough, not pure enough? Oh, this guy is now, huh? Okay. You could even be a Billy Crystal fan, but you will go and find something just to prove the point to Hollywood. I mean, nobody is safe from this.
Absolutely not. The LGBTQIA2 quilt bag people are just so powerful at this point that if you don't just fall into lockstep with everything they've ever said, done, felt, or thought, you're...
Well, no, you can't.
You're done.
No. You can't fall into everything they've said or thought or felt. You have to fall into what they're feeling, saying, or thinking today. Right
now. Absolutely.
Yesterday's not good enough.
Yeah.
Yesterday is just not good enough.
Yeah, and there can be no disagreement. There can be no disagreement on any of it anymore. You have to think exactly what they think.
That's what.
It's amazing.
This is the premise behind the merger between CRTV and The Blaze. There are hosts that I strongly disagree with and strongly disagree with me. And if we that believe in the big principles, the Constitution, that America is not a bad place, that America should not be destroyed, that the Bill of Rights is the greatest document ever, coupled with the Declaration of Independence. That's our unum. That's what will solve these problems. If those people who believe that, but just disagree on politics or policies, if we can't come together, there's no chance. There's no chance. We must put our petty differences aside and look at the big principles and come together and stand together and be able to have a reasonable discussion with people we disagree with. Well, I don't know if you've seen the latest from the left on Christmas, but apparently Jesus had two dads. And I just like to point out, yes, he did. Yes, I'm glad you finally admit that. Mm-hmm. Yes, he had Joseph and God. Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to make T-shirts. You finally get it. Jesus had two dads. Just not the two you think they are. Joseph and, I don't know, Steve. But yes, he did have two dads. But now there's, Jesus had two moms, Mary and Mary, or Mary and another, I don't know, Esther or whoever. It doesn't. No. Just historically, I'm pretty sure that's not true.
Yeah.
Even without the God thing and the star and the wise men, no, I'm pretty sure that didn't happen.
Not a lot of that going on back then.
Well, there might have a lot of that going on, but not openly and not with everybody's blessing.
Right.
Just want to point that out.
But now there's a professor at Minnesota State University, associate professor, who said that there is no definition of consent that constitutes God impregnating the Virgin Mary.
Wait.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say wait.
This is a Me Too movement for the
Mary.
Virgin Mary.
Mary.
Yeah.
Mary did not give consent to God.
When specifically in the Bible, it says she actually did. But this Minnesota professor suggested in a series of tweets that the Virgin Mary did not consent to the conception of Jesus.
Where? Show me the consent. Show me the consent in the Bible.
Well, I have to go to the book of Matthew and Luke, and we'll point that out in a second.
Oh,
here.
you're hesitating now. You're hesitating.
But he suggested that God may have acted in a predatory manner. I mean, this is just flat out blasphemy.
First of all, they don't believe in God.
True.
They don't believe. There's no way this guy believes in God, because
you're right.
You would not.
Yeah,
you would not say that about God if you believed it. God is not a rapist.
Right. Exactly. God couldn't be God if he acted in a predatory manner.
Correct.
But he's a psychology professor and a sex therapist, and he critiqued the story of the Virgin Mary in his tweets, suggesting that the Virgin Mary did not consent. The virgin birth story is about an all-knowing, all-powerful deity impregnating a human teen. There is no definition of consent that would include that scenario. Happy holidays.
Okay,
yes,
first of all,
thank you.
Yeah, thank you. No, I'm going to tell that warm story around the fireplace with my kids in a couple of weeks.
Right after I do the Grinch story, I'm telling this one.
By the way, kids, first we're going to read Luke, but I want you to remember, God's a rapist.
Doesn't really work.
Jesus was a product of a rape.
So he's reminded that, consent is given in Scripture. And then he comes out with this tweet that the power difference, deity versus mortal, and the potential for violence for saying no negates the yes.
We could have written this literally as a parody.
And you wouldn't believe it. And then it happens in real life. You don't even have to parody. You don't have.
That's why there is no comedy.
You don't even have a chance to do parody.
This is why comedy is dead. You can't even make that up.
You can't.
5 years ago, we could have done that as a bit.
Yeah. The power dynamic between God and Mary. she can't consent because of the power dynamic. Oh, man. It is unbelievable.
Oh, my gosh. Well, the reason why I want you to look this up, please, her consent is because, was it signed by her? Do you have it on video?
I do not have it on video.
What did she say? What was he proposing? What did he say? And was there at any time that she said, you know what? It was just a crazy night. I was just so impressed with the power dynamic. I mean, he was God. I was an impressionable teenager. No matter what I said, it doesn't matter. He made me say yes.
Okay, so let's see.
Go ahead. Go
looking.
ahead. I want to find the contract.
I'm looking. Does it need to be in triplicate?
Yeah. I prefer it in video.
Okay, so I'm looking at the King James version. So if you want to take
go ahead. No, you're white power. Go ahead.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay.
You see your
I'm
signature
looking for
anywhere? See any signatures?
There's no signature.
There's no signature.
There's no signature.
No.
It's not signed in
so
duplicate or triplicate.
This is just, man, that changes everything. That changes the story of Christmas entirely.
Yeah, it really does.
Kind of takes the ho out of the holidays.
It really does. There is no signature page here, though.
Wow.
And there is no video, and there's no recording of it. Well, other than the written.
And by the way, it was the Holy Spirit. It wasn't even God. He had some.
All right.
It's the Holy Spirit's like, some. I don't even know who he is. I mean, who's that guy? I mean, like the attorney. He coming down trying to He's like Cohen. Is that who he is? Michael Cohen? I don't know. We don't know. There's no.
Had he even been to law school?
Had he been to law school?
Was it all legally handled? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Mary was coerced. Unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. You really can't make it up.
No, I know. It doesn't even have time to be an SNL skit.
And how do you build on that to make it crazier? This is the problem that comedians are facing.
Mm-hmm.
You say the idea is you take something and then you take it to the nth degree. That used to be easy.
And then it becomes funny.
Yeah.
But when the nth degree is the reality.
Right. Well, like 10 years ago, I could have said, yeah, and you know what's next? Donald Trump's going to be president. And it would have been funny 10 years ago. But when that's your reality, you got no place to go. You have no place to go. When they're saying Mary didn't consent and she was underage. Well, I think the age disparity between Mary and God is pretty big.
Yeah, I think it's wide disparity.
It's pretty wide.
Mm-hmm.
Calling him a cradle robber isn't going far enough. When you've lived for eternity and she's 17, I mean, what do you even talk about?
Yeah, not much.
I mean, what do you even have in common? You're creating universes. What is